Hello, Jimmy from Warrenelli here. The number one question we get asked from new puppy owners is how much do I feed my puppy? It's a good question, so today I'm going to go over how to figure it out. So on our website we have this chart here. Obviously there are a lot of numbers on there, so I'm going to walk you through how to figure out how much to feed your puppy. It's not that tricky, but there are a few little things to know. So the first thing, and it's a little bit counterintuitive, is we need to figure out the maximum amount we will feed your dog. So how much we'll feed them when they're an adult. So adult dogs eat 2 to 3% of their body weight each day. So you'll need to estimate for your puppy how big you think they'll be when they're fully grown. So if you know their mum or their dad, that's a pretty good starting point. Otherwise you can look at the breeds online and come up with a pretty good number. So you'll have a pretty good idea. So for example, Nelly is 20 kilos. So 2 to 3% of 20 kilos is 400 grams to 600 grams. So we feed her half a pack a day. So that's the maximum amount that you'll feed them, and you won't exceed that under most conditions for most dogs. So it's good to keep that in mind. So that's the most you'll feed your puppy as they grow. Okay, let's figure out how much to feed them right now. So using the guide, let's say your puppy is 6 kilos and 5 months old. So the guide says to feed 420 to 480 grams, which works out to between half a pack and 3/5 of a pack a day. So that's the total daily feeding amount. We want to split that into 3 meals if you can: morning, lunch and dinner. I know that can be really hard to do with work. It's also okay just to feed 2 meals, so morning and dinner. And then you just split that total amount into however many meals you're feeding. So obviously, as your puppy grows, the amount of food you'll need to feed them will increase over time. So each month, just have a look at this chart to figure out how much to feed them, and it will give you a pretty good idea of how we go. Now, the thing you'll notice is the numbers get really big really quickly, and that's basically because puppies need lots of food, lots and lots of food as they grow their bodies, relative to fully grown dogs. So the thing to remember is that we won't exceed the amount that we feed them when they're fully grown. So if this is telling you to feed more than you would feed your fully grown dog, we ignore the puppy table and we just feed them as if they're fully grown. So for example, Nelly's 20 kilos now, but let's say she's a puppy and she weighs 14 kilos and she's 6 months old. That would be between 5 and 6%. So we would be feeding her between 700 and 840 grams a day. Basically the chart's saying to feed her a pack a day. That's a lot of food for a puppy of her size. So we would ignore this and we would feed her between 2 to 3% of her expected adult weight. I'd probably go with 3%, so about 2/3 of a pack a day. Once she's fully grown, that will probably go down to half a pack a day. So it's between that 2 to 3% range. Obviously there's a lot of factors that determine how much to feed your puppy. Breed and activity level are the big ones. So this is really only a guide. It's really a starting place to figure out how much you should be feeding, but you do need to keep an eye on your puppy's body condition to make sure you're feeding enough. So I always say, if you're unsure with your puppy if you're feeding enough, feed more. Puppies really do need to have enough food. It's really important that you feed them enough. Once they're fully grown, so about 12 to 18 months, you want them lean as you're comfortable, really. So it's just a good thing to keep in mind. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it's not too daunting. There's so many numbers there. It's been a while. I've been trying to figure out how to communicate it easily, so hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, you can call me, email or text. I'm happy to give personal advice to everybody, as always. So hopefully it helps. Otherwise, give me a call and I'm happy to help you.